All right, let me tell you the story about the logo. The logo is my new logo. You can kind of see it here. I don't know, but I will tell you the story and it will become larger. First of all, I had been using my photo for Ligda photography on all the social media, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, etc. Anywhere that I use Ligda photography, I used my photo, which also I was using for my personal profiles. And if you're familiar with these accounts, you have your personal one and then your business account, and the personal one runs the business account, and it gets confusing seeing the same photo for both. And then I went to LinkedIn, and it definitely seemed inappropriate there. I wanted to presence Ligda photography on LinkedIn. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, is it okay for me to use my face for my Ligda photography? And it said, well, you better not. What does it know? I don't know. But sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. And since it was my instinct in the first place, I went with it. It suggested I do a plain text Ligda photography elegant. It said elegant. This is what it came up with here. Very boring. It's nice. It looks nice. It is elegant. And it's a square. I made it into a square like this. It just didn't look right. It didn't look like a logo. And sometimes I just couldn't really tell it was there. It was just this Ligda photography. It was square, the white background blended with the background of LinkedIn, and it didn't look nice. So I went to sleep a little disappointed. I did post it on LinkedIn just to get my page up. And then that night I started pondering the logo situation. And I've seen, generic cameras or some sort of thing like that for photography, and I didn't want anything generic. And what am I going to do? And then I remembered this picture that I had here, this photo that I took. This I took when I was on the cruise. I was in the elevator, my new Nikon camera that I was playing around with, taking photos of birds outside of the cruise ship. And I got in the elevator and went down, and here's this shiny chrome panel in the elevator with my reflection. And I just snapped this picture. So what? It's got the orange band around here. It's a wristband that attaches to the camera and keeps it from falling off the ship, which is very important to me. And I have my bracelets on, which you could see on me here as well. So I thought, what if I turn this into a logo? So I asked ChatGPT, can you turn this into a logo? And this is what it came up with. Will you turn this into a logo, maybe 4 to 6 colors? Boom. Okay, well, this is not really good for a logo. It seems a little too complicated. I don't know what the shield's here for. Am I a Freemason or a presidential candidate or whatever? No, no, no. So let's go back to the drawing board. And I just simply said, let's remove the shield and banner and make it less detail, because the logo, of course, you want it to be less detail. You want it to be able to scale. You want to be able to print easy, fewer colors, less detail. Get rid of that shield. And boom, right away, it came up with this. And I looked at that and I just thought, is that not perfect? And I looked at it for a while and just contemplated it. It seems simple enough. Maybe it's a little too complicated. Maybe we could go a little less detail. I wasn't sure about the lightning bolts, but it gives it a little action. So I decided to keep it. You could see the wristband here, and I thought maybe that looks inappropriate, but who cares? And then I like that my bracelets are being shown on there too. So overall, it almost seemed perfect. So I asked it one more time. I said, pretty good. Let's go one more layer of fewer detail. And it created the same thing. So then I just thought, well, okay, this is what it's meant to be. And that's how the logo came to be. Just very simple conversation with ChatGPT. It did it pretty much perfect right away. I was so happy with this result. This Here it is in, whoops, let me get rid of all of these. In Photoshop, I moved it over to Photoshop and made it a square. I did it with a transparent background here. I'll convert it into a vector image as well in an Illustrator. And then, of course, the ultimate test. How does it look as a favorite icon, fave icon? And here it is, very small. Well, I think you could tell what it is. So while I do think it's a little too much detail, I think it's going to work out just perfectly. So that is the story behind the logo. And here I am in real life, and you can see my bracelets here on the wrist that I've been wearing for about a year for no particular reason. I like them. And I don't have my strap here to keep my camera attached to my wrist. It's the camera, but it was important on the boat, but when I'm walking around, I don't necessarily care to have it. Something about being on a boat makes me a little bit nervous about dropping the camera. Anyway, that's the story behind the logo and a little bit more.